Welcome everybody to Forbidden Transformation with Karen and Chris. This is episode 2, Zen Apocalypse. I want to welcome everybody. My name is Karen Holton, and I usually co-host with Chris Matthew of Forbidden Knowledge News. We've had so many technical difficulties. As you can see, obviously we're not live streaming. I spent over half an hour trying to get the live stream to work, and I don't know what's going on with YouTube or Zoom or whatever, but there was just no way it was going to work. And so eventually, after a good half hour, I had to give up. Then on top of all of that, Chris is having some major technical issues today too, and I don't even know if he'll be able to make it to the show. So I am asking you all for your forgiveness for not doing the live stream. I apologize to all of those of you who are sitting, waiting, and nothing is happening. And I wish I had some way to reach out to all of you and let you know, and I don't. So I'm just going to ride with it and go with the flow and just do my best. And I'm actually confident there will be things in today's program that you will still find beneficial and hopefully inspiring. And we'll just do the best we can in an imperfect situation, in an imperfect world. So with that being said, I want to repeat our mission. Chris, Matthew, and myself, we have a mission, and it's to support and educate the people of Earth and to assist them to evolve and experience ET contact for themselves. And yeah, that is totally possible and doable. In this way, we help to create and participate in the new positive timeline. In future episodes, we plan to offer more about our ET experiences. We're going to have guests with common experiences and goals, and certainly a lot more about the Quantum Health Transformation Program. We'll also be offering any news that's relative to this as it occurs. So this is the part where I normally turn it over to Chris for his announcements, but he is not here today. So as I mentioned, he's having major technical issues, and so we'll forgive him if he can't make it to the show, and he'll certainly be here for the next show. So I'm going to now move on to announcements. As mentioned in the last show, this is a brand new show. So please help us to reach everyone by liking it, subscribing to my YouTube channel, and sharing this show with your family and your friends. So this show is normally interactive, and this is the point when I would ask you to add your questions into the comment section, but I can't do that today. And again, I truly apologize. And thank you so much for bearing with. We also have a brand new service called Intuitive Time with Karen and Chris, and it's available from my website. And I offer services of consultation and support for spiritual matters and ET contact. So if you have any concerns or want some help with any of that, please do reach out to me. That's available on my website. And please support our work by purchasing Zendome's orgone generators. Rather than asking for donations, we ask that you purchase our products. Therefore, we benefit, but you also benefit as well. And these can only be found on my website, and all the links are going to be in the description box before. So I have a little piece of orgonite here. I'm going to just switch on this light for a second. And try to stay within. So you can see here, there's a Metatron's cube on the front symbol. This is filled with peridot, and it's got a beautiful clear quartz crystal wrapped in copper wire, plenty of copper in there. This is truly beautiful and very efficient orgone generator. So this is just an example of one of them, but I've got oodles on my website, so please do come and check them out. They're beautiful. So at this point in our itinerary, Chris was going to give an overview of what happened to his experience. And I'm going to actually go over that just a little bit, just spend a few minutes on that today, because it's such an exciting and inspirational experience to share with you. And for those of you who haven't been on the show before, who perhaps haven't heard Chris's experience. I'm not going to go into any detail because, of course, it's his story to share, and we'll probably bring it up again and again on our program. But basically what happened was Chris Matthew has been has had his own YouTube channel called Forbidden Knowledge News. And he has interviewed oodles of people from all walks of life who've had all kinds of paranormal experiences, or they're specialized in all kinds of basically forbidden information that's very valuable. And he brings it out to all of you for free on his YouTube channel. But Chris himself was the first to admit that he'd never had a paranormal experience. And so although he was open-minded to the experiences of others, he didn't have any personal experience to draw on. And that all dramatically changed about a month and a bit more ago. So the first thing that happened, he was going through a lot of stress in his life, and he saw his first UFO. And he doesn't know if it was an alien ship or not, but it was definitely an unidentified flying object. Shortly after that, about 2 weeks later, Chris decided to delve deeper into meditation. He's always had some troubles meditating. He would get to a certain point and then he would just break it off because it didn't feel comfortable or it didn't feel right. And he just couldn't get any further into the meditative state, but he kept trying. And about 2 weeks after he saw his first UFO, he had a very deeply moving, transcendent experience. He met his Arcturian guardian angel. He met some other beings, and they shared so much amazing information with him. The first time he met Laird, who was the Arcturian archangel. His second a successful meditation was a couple of days later, and he actually got to go up and be on one of the big ships out in outer space someplace. And it was, I think, the day after or the day after that he had his first profound healing experience. So that's basically what happened to Chris, or for Chris, I would say, really. But I want him to tell his story when he's back on the program in a little bit more detail. And also he told it in quite a bit of detail in episode 1. So you can go back and watch that and glean quite a bit of information from that. What we didn't mention in the last program was how I fit into Chris's experience. And this is very exciting, very exciting. So while Chris was communicating, visiting with Laird, well, sometimes we say talking, but we don't actually talk. It's all done through our psychic abilities. And these beings are very powerful, and they can reach into and enhance our psychic abilities to facilitate contact. So while Chris was visiting with Laird, Laird suggested that Chris contact me for guidance and information and anything else that he needed support, because it's a pretty profound experience. And when it happens to you, you'll know exactly what I mean. And if it's already happened for you, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So Chris and I spent about a week with a lot of communication back and forth. But this is the really interesting and cool part. Chris's guide, Laird, suggested he contact me. And so Chris called me, but he was still kind of in the middle of being overwhelmed by the experience, and he didn't give me very many details. So I said, Chris, let's talk tomorrow, and I'll hear all about it and all the details. Just sit with it tonight. And he said, okay, and we hung up. That night, I go to sleep, and I get taken to a big ship, and I see Chris talking to this blue guy. He was very tall, and he had quite a long neck, quite a bit longer than ours, but not super long. He was bald, and he was definitely blue. And I saw this. And the next day, Chris told me his experience. And I said, Chris, what did the guy look like? What does Laird look like? Because I saw him last night. Chris said, oh, I didn't actually get to see him. I just saw this beautiful blue glowing light. But the next time when he got taken up to the ship, he actually got to see Laird for the first time. So I knew what Laird looked like before Chris did. So on the Sunday, that Sunday, when I talked to Chris, and I asked him, and he said he wasn't sure what he looked like. So I went on the internet, and I didn't know what Arcturians look like. My ET contacts are intergalactic. They're very, very, very far removed from Earth, our solar system, or even our star cluster. And those are the beings that I'm familiar with. You'll have to go and talk to other people who are more familiar with Arcturians or I don't know, reptilians or Anunnaki or whatever, because those are not my areas of expertise. So I didn't really know anything about Arcturians, but I went on and Googled Arcturians, and here was all these artist renditions of what they had seen as far as Arcturian beings go. And yes, indeed, they were tall and blue and long neck, no hair. And so I sent a couple pictures to Chris. And he says, I don't know, but I do feel layered energy. They look familiar, but I don't know. So anyway, Chris, after he'd gone up to, I've got to try to get my time frame straight here because it's also overwhelming. So Chris, when he went up to the big ship, that's when he met Laird and saw Laird physically. And Chris said, oh my God, Karen, he looks almost exactly like those pictures. How did you know? And I said, because I was there the night that you made contact and I saw you communicating with him. So the really exciting thing about this is Chris was referred to me and I was referred indirectly to Chris. And so what happened is our guides supported the reality that each one of us experienced. And that was indeed very exciting, very exciting. So Chris and I are part of the same experience indirectly. And that has led to us forming our mission, which I read out to you, and to tell you about that we've now got the show Forbidden Transformation to support other people in their desire for ET contact and to help move us onto the new positive timeline. So I'm very excited just to share that bit of information. And I'm sorry that Chris isn't here to share for himself, but he certainly would be if he could be. That's for sure. He would never let you down. He's just that kind of guy. So last episode, Chris talked about his experience, and I talked about another experience, which was my first contact with the angelic realm. So if you haven't had a chance, go back and watch that. And then today I'm filling in the piece that we didn't fill in last time about my experience seeing Chris with Laird. So I know this is all, truth is much stranger than fiction. And we're not asking you to go out and just believe us. We're asking you to search in your heart for your own wonderful experiences. And now you've got a place to make contact that will support you in your experiences and will help make this world a better place. So, excuse me, that being said, I'm just going to move on to a little bit about what to expect from the Forbidden Transformation with Karen and Chris program, in case you don't know already. We're going to offer bi-weekly Forbidden Transformation shows on Sundays at 12 noon Pacific, 1 o'clock Mountain, and 2 o'clock Central Time. And so I know most shows are every week, but we're going to do ours every 2 weeks, and that's just how it is for now. And we offer consultation and support services. So you don't need to look any further. If you are looking for those kind of services, we will make ourselves available to you. And we now have a Forbidden Transformation Facebook group that offers peer-to-peer support. Please do let us know if you'd like to be a moderator. We could use a couple more moderators. We have one. Thank you, Susan, for volunteering. And it is a private group. So everything you say within that group will stay within that group and won't be shared anywhere else. And we highly value confidentiality. So look us up on Facebook and put in a request to join, and we'll certainly admit you to the group. This group is not just for everybody. This group is for those of you who tune in to the show and are serious about wanting to make their lives different so that they can have increased ET and other paranormal, positive paranormal experiences. Later on, once we get our technical issues all sorted out, we're going to add a phone-in component that you'll be able to phone in and share your experiences with us. And we also plan to multi-stream to many popular platforms on future shows. So the main thing is it's not just about Chris and I, it's about all of us, and we want to hear your experiences. So with that, I'm going to move into a few small presentations today. Chris was hoping to share the hero's journey with you, and that unfortunately is not possible. So I'm just going to do my best to fill in a bit, and I'm going to go to screen share now. And here I have some examples of the hero's journey that I want to go through with you. Now, none of these illustrations, I didn't make any of these, I just got them off the internet. And if you want more information about the hero's journey, please just use your search engine and you'll find just tons and tons of information. So Chris and I have both noticed that when we step out from an ordinary life into an extraordinary life, when we have experiences that other people don't commonly have and certainly tend to not validate, we actually end up on the hero's journey, and it's quite interesting. So we kind of start off by, getting the call, having, some experiences, some intuitions, some inklings, some premonitions. We have something that we could call the call. We also will find helpers that come out and present themselves for us. So when the student is ready, the master appears. So there will be supports and helpers that are going to come out before you decide to embark on your journey. Now, once you embark on your journey, it's not all love and roses and balloons or anything like that. It's actually all kinds of problems and perils. First of all, you're stepping out from the known into the unknown, and that's kind of scary. The other thing is all the people that we're used to interacting with, they don't go where we're going. This is a very highly detailed spiritual journey, and they haven't been on it. They can't relate to it. So we lose some of our supports. We have all kinds of things come into our life. Eventually, we end up getting really depressed because we no longer fit in the way we used to fit in. Everything has changed. We're perceiving things we've never perceived before. But if we press through, and in this illustration, it's called the pit. And if we just do the natural process, we eventually start stepping out of that, and we start to discover some superpowers, some amazing things that other people who haven't weathered the journey, they don't know about and they don't have, but you do. And eventually you step back into the known, you bring your gifts with you, it's called the return, and you've come full circle in the hero's journey. So I know those of you who have had these paranormal experiences have also experienced the hero's journey. So this is not anything new or anything like that. It happens to so many people on so many levels, but it's so rarely talked about in society. So I would definitely call that, part of our forbidden transformation. Here's another artist's illustration of the same process, a little bit different. Starting the call to adventure, meeting a mentor or being inspired, crossing the threshold. There will be helpers along the way, but we face all kinds of trials and failures because we're stepping into a new way of being and thinking that we never even heard of or thought of before. We start to grow some new skills. Then there's the death and the rebirth. That is the death of the old self, the death of the ignorant self, and we're reborn. And we have revelations and we make changes. And we have to do some atonement because part of this is realizing that we have a shadow self as well as a light self. And we have to address both selves and bring them into harmony. So we get our gifts, we return to changed person, and life goes on. Generally, we go through this cycle many times in our life. I hate to tell you this. Probably the first go around is the roughest. And after that, we start to realize, aha, I've been through this before, and that helps a lot. Here's another version of the same thing. The hero in his natural environment at the top, call to action, refusal of the call. We've all done that. Trust me, no one wants to stick out and be a weirdo or different. Nobody wants to. But the calling is the calling, and we meet a mentor or maybe several, and we decide to cross the threshold. We have trial and first failure, which is always the hardest. We meet allies and we meet enemies. There is a lot of people who don't want you to have an authentic experience. Maybe they haven't had an authentic experience and they're kind of trying to pass themselves off as having an authentic experience. Maybe they haven't actually done the homework like you are. And a lot of them will become your enemies simply because they know you're going through the real thing. Again, growth, new skills for success, the grand trial, the revelation and the insight, then over to the discarding of the old self, accepting the new role, the road back, stepping up to the final challenge, winning, becoming successful, your life falls back into order, and you take a new place in the old world from which you started. And I've got just one more to show you. I like this one because it shows the spiral. I don't believe we ever really come back to that same start spot. We come back as an ascended being. Now, ascended being doesn't mean that we're perfect, doesn't mean that we're absolutely holy or we do everything right, not at all. But we definitely come back in an elevated reality from which we left. And again, here is the call to adventure, refusal of the call. That's really common, to run away and hide, don't do it. You know, there's a tremendous amount of fear. It takes tremendous courage. We meet the mentor, that really helps. We cross the threshold. Tests, allies, and enemies. Approach to the innermost cave, which is our dark shadow side. The ordeal in the abyss, facing the shadow self. I don't even know what this word means, but obviously it means coming out of the abyss. Then the ultimate boon, refusal of the return. That's interesting. I've had a lot of that because after I've been with my ET brothers and sisters, I don't want to come back. This world kind of sucks and a lot of the people kind of suck. And it's difficult to come back, but you do. You come back and you become master of two worlds for a while. And then we return with special knowledge and we ascend to a higher plane. So that's basically the hero's journey. And I encourage you to think about this in relation to your own life. Obviously, you've got some paranormal potential or you wouldn't be watching the show. And I'm willing to bet you've already had your first amazing experiences. I'm going to stop sharing that one now at this point and consult my notes. So that's the bit that Chris was going to talk about. And he was going to do it better than me because he was going to do it without pictures and notes. But what can we do? Technical issues come along with technology, eh? It's kind of like the shadow side of the light and all the things we can do with it. So I was going to take questions at this point about what you wanted to say about the hero's journey or any questions you had, but that's not possible today. So we are going to move into how to have a Zen apocalypse. So again, I have a little presentation. So if you would just bear with me for half a minute, I am going to switch over to oops, that's the wrong one. I'm going to switch over to the beginning of this one. Okay. Where am I? Here I am, back on Zoom. How to have a Zen apocalypse. Just going to move that bar up a little bit there. And hopefully this is working and recording because I don't want to have to do it all over again. I will if I have to, but I hope I don't have to. So let me just have a little drink of water here before I continue. Okay. So there's a whole lot going on in this world right now. A whole lot. More than really any one person can bear if you really follow down the rabbit holes and see what's going on with any insight and what's going on in this world right now. And so I believe we're kind of part of the apocalypse. Things that were hidden are coming to light. Seems like all hell is breaking loose. But I believe that we can still have a Zen apocalypse. We can bring comfort and peace and love and all the good things into our life now, irregardless of what's going on in the world. And so these are the steps on how to have a Zen apocalypse. You would like to restore the body temple. Now, the body temple is your physical body, but it's also your chakras, your meridians, your light body, and it needs to be restored to a certain level of health so that we can hold the energy and the frequency, so that we can make contact and we can have our superpowers, as what was brought out in the hero's journey. Then we need to learn how to maintain and care for the body temple. We need to understand the wisdom of the Nubby ball. We need to cultivate courage to deprogram and reprogram your mind. Take responsibility for mental health. Learn to fully relax and practice this daily. We need to physically ground ourselves in nature daily. We need to achieve heart coherence daily. So as far as restoring the body temple, to restore the temple body, first we must restore our energetic body. And there are 3 kinds of grounding necessary for energetic health. There's spiritual, environmental, and personal grounding. Spiritual grounding includes gratitude and appreciation and accepting unconditional love from people and other living things. Environmental grounding includes spending time in nature and the use of orgone generators, often called orgonite, indoors. Personal grounding includes self-grooming, stretching, and posture. And for more about this, check out Quantum Health Transformation Step 8. This is a picture of our heart torus field, and it stretches out, about 10 feet in all directions around us. And that's why human contact is so important, because when we have human contact, there is an overlap in our energy centers and in our heart torus field, which enhances learning, sharing of information, and all kinds of other things. So when we take time to ground our bodies, stretch and groom ourselves, we clear and we line up our chakras, which strengthens our heart's torus field. A vibrant heart torus field improves our health and brings us into alignment with our desires for a more comfortable, successful existence. It is at the heart of body temple restoration. Our heart torus field radiates outward for at least 10 feet in our 3rd dimensional reality, and further on the 4th and 5th dimensional realities, where we are all connected. Heal yourself and you literally heal the world. And for more research, you can go to the Heart Math Institute, and you can do some research into all their studies and how they came to verify that this is indeed true, and that we each do indeed produce our own heart torus field. Maintain and care for the body temple. Living beings produce biophotonic energy, which can be seen with Kirlian photography and by measuring the strength of the torus field produced by our physical hearts. See Quantum Health Transformation Step 8 and Step 5 primers for more about this. So this picture over here is a picture of somebody that's been taken with Kirlian photography. And you can see that the energy or the light is leaking out all over the body, because we are indeed light beings. Many experiments show us that we are transceivers. We transmit and receive energetic information. Recently, scientists have discovered that spiritual consciousness, also called biophotonic energy, travels faster than the speed of light with an unimaginable high frequency and short wavelength. And this is not the same as your brain waves. This is why spiritual consciousness travels outside of time and space. The sacral chakra transmits at the speed of light to the second power, and the crown chakra transmits at the speed of light to the 8th power. Let me show you a little bit more about this so you can get the full magnitude of what we're capable of. Spiritual consciousness is also called biophotonic energy. The sacral chakra transmits at the speed of light squared. That is over 670 million miles per hour times over 670 million miles per hour. And the value for the speed of light in a vacuum is now defined as exactly close to 300 million meters per second. So the sacral chakra transmits at almost 300 million meters per second times almost 300 million meters per second. Now, when you translate that to miles per hour, you get this number up here. So this number is in meters per second, and this number up here is miles per hour. When we move up the chakras to the crown chakra, which is at the top of the head, it transmits biophotonic energy at the speed of light to the 8th power. So what does that look like? That looks a little bit like this. Over 670 million miles per hour times over 670 million miles per hour times over 670 million miles per hour times over 670 million miles per hour, and again times that, times that, times that, times that, 8 times. And the number is so astronomically huge, I don't have a calculator that would go that high, and it would be a ridiculously high number. So just to show you how incredibly fast prayer is, supplication to our angelic guides, our reaching out to ET. We can go anywhere in the universe, in fact, even bleed over into the multiverse and the omniverse because of these incredibly short, narrow little oscillations that we can't even measure. And to us, this is instant communication. And it even explains precognitive knowing, because you're going so fast that you're able to cross time and space. And so you can actually see and perceive things that are going to happen in the future. Now, I've got a playlist on this YouTube channel called The Science of Reality. I really recommend that you check it out. And I've got 4 videos called The Science of Reality. And all the science behind all of this is explained much better than I could ever do it. So please do check out The Science of Reality, that playlist on my YouTube channel. Next, understand the wisdom of the Nubby Ball. The Nubby Ball tool is also known as quantum field holography, and I use it as a tool to share the context of many lessons. So please review the Quantum Health Transformation Step 9 primer and live videos for technique. And I was shown that only by considering an issue as infinite points or nubs on a ball could I get a glimpse of the truer whole. As I practiced with many issues and situations, I realized that I could use this tool to gain greater understanding of life and on many different levels. Only by crudely considering the entirety as displayed by this tool could I approach truth, and especially my truth. So hopefully this is going to show up. If I keep it in the right place, it will. This is a little example of a nubby ball. The difference between this and the nubby ball I'm talking about in my program is this has a limited amount of nubs, and a nubby ball would have infinite number of nubs. So we're going to take a look at one of the dichotomous concepts we have from 3D living in mainstream society, and that's of good and bad. So let's put good at the North Pole, and let's put bad or evil at the South Pole. Now, those are only 2 of infinite possibilities on this sphere. The reality is most of the concept is wrapped around the center or the equator. The chances of having 100% good and 100% evil is almost slim to nil on a sphere that gives you all options and all possibilities. And it helps us to come back to the middle or the center to see that there are so many other options that we could be looking at within the sphere of goodness and badness, or goodness and evil. And I'm not going to get into it too much today, but I just wanted to show you a little visual of a nubby ball, as you will see it in the lesson. And hopefully you will do the lessons and you will see how to use this amazing tool for yourself. So we want to understand the wisdom of the nubby ball. It helps us to be more analytical. And the next steps, as I'm going through them, it will become more evident why you would want to take that lesson. So cultivate courage to deprogram and reprogram your mind. And this is taken from Quantum Health Transformation Step 4, understanding the power of heuristics and speaking your truth in the primer. By the way, for those of you that don't know, this is a completely free program. The Quantum Health Transformation Series 2.0 is available as a playlist on this YouTube channel, absolutely free, no strings attached. So please do avail yourself of the lessons if that interests you. So in order to speak your truth, you have to find your truth. And your truth is that which you have come to believe once you have stepped outside of the socio-economic, political construct or your socialized programming. Speaking your truth requires a shift in perception and new ways of expressing yourself. One way to step outside of our socio-economic political programming is to consider how we learn on a total perceptual level and get a better understanding of our heuristic patterns. Quantum heuristics. Heuristics is the whole process of taking in and interpreting data and then learning from it. This is how we plot our course through life, and it involves taking in data on a physical level. So that would be what we see, hear, touch, smell, and taste. The data that we take in on a socio-emotional level, which is the culturally constructed meaning attached to the data, and the emotional sensations produced from our perceptions of it. So what we see, hear, touch, smell, and taste gets taken in, but we've been trained to look at it from a constructed meaning that's attached to the purity of those physical sensations that actually gives us emotional sensations and alters our perceptions of it. So an example is social media. If we spend a lot of time on social media, yeah, we're basically using seeing and hearing, and a little bit of touching, but mostly seeing and hearing. And what's happening is there's so much data that's been added to that by the construct, by the mainstream, or even alternative ways of viewing reality, that it produces emotional sensations in us and alters our perceptions. Then, as well as the data we take in on, there is the data we take in on an energetic level, because the actual energy produced from the symbols and that form the data are also affecting us. And a little bit more about that next. So consider our self-learning from at least those three perspectives, which form a holistic or a quantum view. Most of our interpretation of the data is what we call reality. And it comes from patterns of cultural learning based on words. And words form standardized, mutually built, conscious concepts into a verbal pattern in order to share with others the constructed data, forming what we consider to be shared reality. I'm deconstructing this for you so that you can see how we are affected by what our senses are taking in. It's not just what our senses are taking in, it's all the constructed parts and symbols that are added to it and embedded into it that affect the way we think. So we get used to thinking within these patterns and learn from our perceived experiences within the shared environment. And unfortunately, this data is corrupted by propaganda. It is my belief that linguistic relativity and language influence our beliefs and the use of words affect our perceptions and patterns of learning. Since all things are connected, we do well to consider our choice of words and the methods of communication we rely on. For example, I don't see a health industry or even healthcare. I see a disease management system. And so what I'm doing is I'm deconstructing by using different words. I am constructing my own version of reality that I bring to the table instead of just relying on all the symbols that are embedded into mainstream words and thinking and ways of communicating and sharing reality. We are all programmed by a society that has a not so hidden agenda. It offers us a mainstream viewpoint which has us operating at a disadvantage. But we have other options. Once you recognize your own patterns, feel free to experiment and choose new patterns until you find ones that resonate with you. Along with an evolution in thinking comes a shift in perception and new ways of looking at everything. You will discover options that were there all along, and your mind forms new neural pathways as you learn. This facilitates a refining process that leads to happiness and the attainment of our desires. Now you can experience the power of heuristics and speak your truth with amazing outcomes. I'm starting over, a new pattern of thoughts, a new wave of emotions, a new connection to the world, a new belief system in myself. Once we realize that it is our responsibility to define and evolve our personal and collective reality, we can unleash our internal creative powers. Using the Nubby Ball tool, we can now do an honest appraisal of our whole selves, and we take responsibility for our actions. We are now able to engage in meaningful self-reflection and confidently make our own necessary adjustments for personal growth and evolution. Now we truly begin to thrive and find the happiness and the contentment that we deserve. Next, take responsibility for your own mental health. Choose introspection over worry. Introspection allows you to learn from the past by viewing it more objectively. Once we learn the lesson, we can let the memory go along with all of its trapped negative energy. Become self-aware. Watch yourself as though you are an inside observer. Refrain from criticism. Keep a sense of humor. And there's a lot more about this in the Quantum Health Transformation Step 8. Learn to mind your own business, because it's already enough to deal with. Do not be so interested in what other people are doing, saying, and thinking. And again, there's more in Quantum Health Transformation Step 9. About the power of emotions. Some new paradigm enthusiasts avoid facing negative emotions for fear that they will be pulled into a lower vibrational state. Some believe this will hinder their spiritual progress and the ability to manifest their desires. So for example, law of attraction, a lot of people are doing law of attraction and go, oh, I have to have the right frequency constantly exuding from myself in order to attract the good things that I want. And if I feel depressed or if I feel angry, that's going to ruin my manifestation. Well, I don't quite see it that way. Realistically, though, it is not possible to be up and happy all of the time. This would interfere with the natural ebb and flow of all things. Life without contrast has no meaning. And please avoid fear-based thinking from any source. That's never going to help. And that might mean switching off the television. That might mean switching off your alternative news sources. It might mean maybe you want to touch in briefly each day with your favorite YouTubers and content creators, but certainly you probably want to limit some of the negative or fear-based information that's coming in. And more can be learned from Quantum Health Transformation Step 6. So another thing is sometimes we occupy our awareness with strong emotion to keep us from facing our fears. When we face our fears, they disappear and the strong emotion we once used to cover them dissipates into calm. When we stop censoring and suppressing our full range of emotions, we can use our feelings as teachers and guides. Once we learn the lesson, we can often return to a peaceful place, which I will call contentment. Conscious thoughtlessness and contentment go hand in hand. This leaves room for conscious living and much energy for manifesting that which we desire, including ET contact. Now, this is the healing power of your emotions. Learn to fully relax and practice this every day. So here there's an image, and this is what the human body looks like on an energetic level. Generally, we're pulling energy in through the female side, which is the left side, and out of our right side or our male side is how generally energy flows out and to other places. But in truth, our energy is flowing in and flowing out all over the body, circling all of us and making us the energetic beings that we are. So personal grounding will definitely help you to relax, including self-grooming and stretching. We are a grooming species and we require daily massage and movement of the body in order to clear our energy pathways, align our chakras, and strengthen our flow of energy. And this energy is sometimes called chi, prana, 0 point, or even Holy Spirit. This is foundational for improving the health of the body, mind, and soul. These practices are not only soothing, but they prepare the body for the higher frequencies necessary to communicate with the higher realms. Physically ground yourself in nature daily. I guarantee you will feel better and more grounded when you are out of doors. Physical contact with earth, grass, water, sand, etc. restores the natural frequency of our bodies. The resonant frequency of a human being is about 70 megahertz when it's insulated, but it matches the resonant frequency of the earth, which is about 7 megahertz to 12 megahertz when we make physical contact with it. Technology unnaturally raises our resonant frequency to levels we are not able to cope with, and only by dropping them to a level which matches the earth do we begin to heal and recover. So go outside and make contact just as often as you can. Stretching also unblocks the energy centers or the chakras and stimulates circulation while preparing the body for movement. Techniques like yoga, tai chi, and qigong seem to work best. But any stretching is better than none, as long as it does not cause you any pain. Mimicking the way a pet stretches or the natural flow of the trees and water are also very beneficial and grounding. If you are not familiar with a stretching routine, try stretching your body first thing in the morning within the comfort of your own bed. Stretching also helps your body posture to realign itself, which is necessary for the energy to flow freely throughout your body. The 7 commonly known chakras are connected to secondary chakras, which are connected to your stargates, and your stargates make interdimensional travel possible. So here I have some illustrations of some people stretching, and also animals. All animals stretch, bugs stretch, everything stretches, even the trees stretch in the wind. So whether it's your kitty cat or a bear or a fox or a wolf or even a lion, notice that a lot of the stretching patterns that are good for all of us are very similar, and they all help us to have cleared chakras. This is a picture of the chakras down the center of the body, and helps us to certainly feel a lot better and function at a much higher level. So I really recommend that you put some of that into practice. And finally, achieve heart coherence daily. So I am not going to do this with you at this point, but I am going to offer a guided meditation at the end of this show, in which a lot of this will be part of. So I'm just going to go over the steps today. Achieve heart coherence daily. Step 1, lay comfortably on your back and lay your preferred orgone generators or crystals onto your chakras. Step 2, slow your in-breath to a count of 5 and your out-breath to a count of 6. Step 3, place at least one hand onto your heart. Well, actually above your heart. Step 4, think about someone you love. Think about what you appreciate about them and feel the gratitude grow within your heart. Step 5, feel the love grow within your heart. Try to do this for about 20 minutes or longer each time. And each time you repeat this during a single day, the results will get stronger. So say you only have 5 minutes to do this. You may not even notice much of an effect, but if a couple hours later you do it again for another 5 or 10 minutes, you'll feel a little bit better. And if you do it again, maybe 4 times during the day, you'll find that you never lose the level that you reached from the previous exercise. It stays with you, and then you add another layer and another layer and another layer until you're actually able to experience heart coherence. If you want more information about achieving heart coherence, I would recommend that you check out Greg Braden and also Dr. Joe Dispenza. They both have excellent meditations that they can do with you, even though it's virtual, and it will help you a great deal. They're masters at it. The end, which is really just the beginning. So this presentation is available in PDF on my website. Go to my shop, click on downloads, and then click on the fringe view, and you will see it and other PDF presentations that I'm offering. I am asking for $3.99 Canadian, which is probably more like about $2.75 American. And because every little bit helps to pay for the many expenses we have when we produce a free show. And so that is it for this slideshow presentation. I'm just going to stop the share at this point. Hopefully, I'm still recording. That's a good thing. Now I'm going to, as I mentioned, we're going to close out with a guided meditation today. So I'm going to do my final announcements now, and then we'll go straight into the guided meditation, because after that you might want to just go to sleep and have a little nap. So what I recommend you do while I'm reading the final announcements is find yourself a comfy spot, either a comfy chair, go lay down on your bed, however you want to do it. Get yourself really comfy. And if you're driving, do not do this meditation, or if you're working with heavy equipment or anything like that, because it will be deeply relaxing. So please make sure that your full attention is able to go into the meditation. Otherwise, please don't do this. Just got to say that for people that might be listening to this while they're driving down the road. So our next show, episode 3, we're going to have a guest speaker, and it's Preston Dennett. Those of you who know Preston know he is an amazing psychonaut. He is an amazing astro traveler. He's had ET experiences. He's had all kinds of neat things happen. So we're going to bring him in as a guest, and we're going to have a little discussion with him and hear what he has to say, because it's good for you to get different viewpoints on different people who have embarked on the hero's journey, have also embarked on just the greatest experiences people can have during a lifetime. And so he's just so perfect. And we'll air September 27th. And unlike today, we will start at 12 noon Pacific, 1 o'clock Mountain, or 2 o'clock Central Time on this YouTube channel. All of the links for our information and services will be in the description box below. And if you would like to contact us regarding the Forbidden Transformation Show, please email us at forbiddentransformation@gmail.com. And any questions you wanted to ask that you weren't able to today, you can email us there as well. And so until next time, Chris and I wish you light, love, and much happiness. And we'll now move on to the guided meditation. Find yourself a comfy place to sit or lay down, whichever. And again, if you're driving, do not do this. I want you to just sit back comfortably in your seat, feel the weight of your body, or if you're laying down, your bed or whatever you're laying on, feel that beneath you, feel your body sinking into it, and close your eyes. Let's begin. Start with your breathing. I want you to pull in from your diaphragm, which is around just above your belly button. Pull the breath in with the diaphragm and then just let it go for the exhalation. You're going to breathe in to a count of 5 and breathe out to a count of 6. And I'm going to count with you as we start our breathing together. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No peeking. Close your eyes. Breathe in, pulling in from the diaphragm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Spend a few minutes focused on your breathing, just as I have described. In and out, in to a count of 5, out to a count of 6. Just feel yourself relax into your breathing as it becomes less planned and more natural. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Continue to do this throughout the entire meditation. Keep doing it until you start to feel yourself letting go a little bit, letting go of tension. And now we're going to do a full body scan. We're going to start with the tips of the toes. Feel what they're feeling like. The little joints of the toes, and the balls of the feet, and the heel, and up through the ankle, and up through the shins to the knees, and up from the knees to the thighs, up into the hips, up the back, all the way up the spine to the neck, up the front and up the center, inside all our internal organs and our skin, up to the top. And now scan from the fingertips to the fingers and all the little joints in the fingers and the balls of the hand and the hands to the wrists, up through the forearms to the elbows, up the upper arms to the shoulders, and across to the neck, and up the back of the neck and the front of the neck, up into the jaws, up into the back of the head to the top, the sides, the forehead, the eyebrows, the eyes, the face. The mouth should be relaxed down to the chin. And any bits of tension or pain or tightness, anything that we find while we're doing the scan, we're now going to let go of it and just let it go and let it dissolve. We're not trying to make it go away, just recognize it and watch it, because now it has our attention and it can let go, and it doesn't need to tell us anymore, because we can drift into relaxation and into comfort. And now place one hand over the heart and the other hand on top of that hand, so that both hands are cupped slightly and placed over the heart. Continue with your breathing. Check your breathing. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in. 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Continue with your hands placed upon your heart and your breathing, pulling down from the diaphragm, and then just simply relaxing to exhale. Do this until you feel quite comfortable. And now I want you to think about somebody that you love, someone that you hold dear. Think about what you appreciate about them. Is it the things they do? Is it their mannerisms? Or is it the fact that they're just in your life and you love them so much? Think about that person. Think about their qualities that you appreciate so much. And spend a little time thinking about them. And I'll give you a little bit of time, a few seconds to do this now. Feel the gratitude. Feel the gratitude you feel for having this person in your life. And by the way, if you don't have anyone that easily comes to mind, it could be your pet, it could be your houseplants, it can be anything living. Just think about it. Think about how much you love them. Think about all the qualities they possess that you appreciate so much about them. And then feel the gratitude and let that gratitude swell within your chest and swell to fill up your whole body, even down your arms and down your legs, to your fingers and toes, and to the top of your head. So full of gratitude. And now that gratitude starts to turn into love. Feel the love. Feel it in your heart. Feel the connection between your heart and the heart of the person you love, or close enough to that you can get if it's a plant. And just feel that love. Feel it filling up your body, expanding to the point where your body can no longer contain it, and it starts to leak out every pore of your body like light, beautiful light of love, filling you up to the point where it's coming out all around you. Feel the emotion. Don't just stay with the conceptual image of what love is. Feel the emotion. And sometimes that emotion can be fairly intense, even produce tears, but whatever comes, let it come. Just feel the love. Feel your emotions. Let your emotions flow and drain away. Such a beautiful feeling. And just bask in the glow. Bask in the glow of gratitude, and bask in the flow of love. Let that love and that glow just grow and grow. And then just sit with this. That's it. There's nothing really more to it than that. Just sit with that feeling. And now as you sit there or you lie there with your eyes closed, and you're feeling all that love and all that light, you can just, one of several things, you could just drift off to sleep. Or you could gather your awareness back and prepare to become fully alert and get back to whatever you were doing. It's up to you. You've got control. You're at the helm. But I would like you to stay with this until you start to actually feel your body relax and you start to feel that glow within your chest. Because now you have reached heart coherence, and your heart is now communicating with your brain, with all the other parts of your body. You're becoming one beautiful, unified vessel of love and gratitude. And when you're ready, just drift off to sleep or gather your awareness back and prepare to open your eyes. And in all of this, I want you to feel the love that I have for you, the love that I hold in my heart for each and every one of you. And I'm transmitting that love through this video to you as you do your meditation. So now just quietly and gently drift off, drift off, drift off. I love you. I really do, and I always will. That you can count on.